Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a thriller from Germany, German language English subs, released in the year 2015, directed by Jacob Irwa, and this film is called Homesick. So Homesick is about a young couple. They've recently moved into a new apartment complex. The woman is a very good cello player who's recently been selected to represent Germany at an orchestral piece in Russia. So she's got a lot of pressure. She's continuously practicing with the support of her boyfriend, who is constantly telling her that she can do it. She lacks a bit of confidence, but she's very excited about the opportunity. But unfortunately, the more they spend time in the apartment, some very strange things start to happen, and this woman believes it's a result of the neighbours not wanting them there. So the more these things happen, the more paranoid she starts to get, and she goes on a downward spiral of obsession that she has to basically prove what she's thinking is right. So the boyfriend is saying, look, you're just under too much pressure, please just take it easy, but she just can't let it go. And so that spiral of paranoia threatens to destroy everything that she had. So whether or not the neighbours are out to get her, or in fact it is just a figment of her imagination, is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Homesick. This is a movie that I didn't even know existed until I read up on an article on the internet about films that are inspired by Roman Polanski and Alfred Hitchcock. So when I saw this on the list, I thought I definitely have to give this a shot. Germany are very well known for making very high-end production movies, so I thought to myself, this looks very good. This is the type of thing I really like. And what Roman Polanski especially does so well was how he makes something of an interpretation. Basically, you don't know if someone's going crazy or in fact they're onto something. And because there's a level of curiosity there and there's a level of uncertainty, it does make for a very awkward experience. Basically, you don't know who you're supposed to be rooting for. Is the person that you've actually been supporting all this time, are they in fact the villain? Or in fact, is the people that you interpreted as the villain, are they in fact the victims? And so it makes for just a whirlwind of paranoia, and that paranoia makes a lot of uncertainty, and therefore it makes a suspense. And so Alfred Hitchcock and Roman Polanski were very well known for doing this. And so when I saw that Homesick was like this, I thought to myself, okay, well, the expectations are very high. A recent movie that did this very well was The Ones Below, which is a very low budget English film, but I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I love that film, and I was hoping that Homesick would be another experience of that kind. And I will say that 99.9% of this film is absolutely fantastic. It is very reminiscent of Roman Polanski's The Tenant, where you don't know who to root for. Is this woman going insane, or in fact are the neighbours sinister? And so because you don't know that, there is evidence to suggest that she's losing her mind. There's evidence to suggest that she's onto something. And so the level of interpretation creates all the suspense that the movie has, and it creates a lot of dread and isolation. Basically, the cinematography is a representation of this woman's mind. It's dreary, it's very has a very grey palette, and so nothing about this film is comfortable. You've got a soundtrack that really plays a pivotal role in sending the hairs on the back of your neck up. And it's a very slow burn sort of film, so you've got the beautiful actress who plays the main character. She starts off as this cello player, and she's under a lot of stress, and I thought her reaction to certain things were very authentic. So I could actually relate to her. I could relate to her situation, basically being under a lot of pressure, and the pressure would suggest that she is thinking things that aren't real. But then as the neighbours start to come into the film, you start to think, okay, they're a little bit peculiar. Is she actually onto that? So the evidence to suggest yes and no, which is why I love this movie for the majority, is that there's a lot of uncertainty. So the suspense is actually ever present, and it's sustained in a way where it is very subtly done. So it is a very creepy film. It has shades of Michael Haneke, where you've got just very dreary shots, and those dreary shots give the authenticity, and it actually just gives that creepiness. Is that it's the everyday sort of monotony, but that monotony is starting to build up into something so much more. And so the spiral of paranoia, I thought, was absolutely fantastic in this movie. I thought the acting performances were brilliant, especially from that main actress, and you've got the neighbours who I thought were creepy. And as I said, it maintains that level of interpretation right up until the very shocking climax. And I thought where the movie really should have finished, it absolutely shocked me. I thought to myself, whoa, that was just a hit with a sledgehammer, and this movie was going for a 4.5 out of 5. But unfortunately, there is a split second before the end credits roll that basically destroy all the good things that this movie has going for it. So if you can just forget that split second exists, this movie would have been absolutely brilliant. But unfortunately, that split second that happens, it basically gives you the impression as to what is going on. It basically gives you the answers. The director is holding your hand. I don't know why the director chose to put this in, but unfortunately a lot of directors do this. It just feels as though they're making a movie that is very good, making a movie that does force you to use your mind and your brain, but then all of a sudden they just think to themselves, okay, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. I want to hold your hand. I want to make sure you understand everything that went on so you can enjoy the film. But to me, that's something that you get in everyday Hollywood. It's not something you get in European cinema. And unfortunately, it just derails all the interpretation. Therefore, the suspense is gone. And you know exactly what the movie was about, which defeats the purpose of these types of movies. You know, Roman Polanski, the reason why he was so good is because he doesn't give you that safety barrier. He doesn't give you basically black and white, you know, good versus evil. He gives you that grey area. And that grey area moulds a very sinister character. And this movie moulded that character. It made that very sinister, sort of uncomfortable environment, but then right at the end it's basically telling you what the film's about, and I just think that destroyed the purpose of the film, and it just contradicts all the great things that Jacob Irwa had created in this movie. So this has gone from a 4.5 stars to a 3, because the fact I just thought as though right at the end the director decided, nah, people aren't going to like the way I've just done this. I'm just going to put something in that is just going to derail all the good things that I had going for it, and it's just going to come across as a major disappointment. It's still a good film, but it should have been so much better. I just don't know why directors do this. They decide to add one last thing, and it's just basically, it just flushes away a lot of the good things. So this is nowhere near the movie it really should have been. If you can forget that last second before the credits existed, then this movie was brilliant. But unfortunately, because it derails the interpretation, I'm only going to give Homesick 3 stars. Still go out there and see it, but I was left very, very disappointed. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.